I listen a lot to everyone here, and when we are looking at like the vindictiveness of something, we also have to look at what caused that individual to be that way. If she comes and she's doing what she needs to do, and let's say something happens, like, are you, I guess my question is, when you are premeditating that she's going to crash out and she's going to be vindictive, are you also premeditating that you're going to do something that's so hurtful that you want her to forgive you and bypass it and still act like a lady while leadership and discipline was absent in you? Like, I don't understand, how do we always get to the female crashing out, and then we never talked about the laws and the changes as time progressed. When women had a right to open up their bank accounts and things of that nature, which was in the 70s, so was most of the states all the way up until like the 80s have at fault divorces. So that means by default, if you cheated, someone can say you're at fault and hold you responsible.
Mhm.
It was not until after that, mid 80s, I want to say mid to late 80s, did they bring apart irreconcilable differences, where someone can just say, I don't want to be with you anymore because I don't like how you speak to me, instead of work through it like adults.
Mhm.
So are we taking that in consideration as well?
No, because the end result doesn't give a damn about the means. I mean, about the process, and we don't need to take that into consideration. And I have a question I want to ask for clarification. Or is your assertion that at fault divorce hurt women more than it hurt men?
I didn't, that was not my assertion at all.
Okay.
I'm just saying, did we ever take that in consideration when prenups started to become popular? The at fault clauses were lessening. Now we're about like 5 states in the whole United States. Whereas, a few years ago, almost 40 years ago, we were at the whole state in some way, shape, or form. If you're playing house with someone, there was some type of responsibility that you had.
So let's just to be fair, when we talk about these things, let's
Mhm.
use like language that actually like fits the conversation. Because 40 years ago is not a few years ago. There are people on this panel that weren't alive 40 years ago. That's a lifetime ago. So, and the amount of progress that's been made in the legal system for women, as far as women rights go, you guys can vote, open bank accounts, all that other stuff. That's
Mhm.
great. However, if today the amount women have gained more rights in marriage and business than men have in marriage over that same time span, because now the family courts are skewed heavily towards women. There are some states that automatically default to the woman being the better parent. There are also states that protect women and make men pay significant amounts of alimony. So divorce is a business for women, and it has been since women have been able to go get their own bank accounts. Like this, the independent. Like I ask you, that's your assertion, because there's no way to tie that to the conversation right now. You're talking about what happened in the 70s and 80s, and we're talking about someone who got divorced in 2025. So that's why I asked to be clear what your assertion was, because at fault divorce is something that women have been fighting against. The only thing women fight harder against than at fault divorce is accountability. So with accountability being women's number one battle, at fault divorce is number two. So if you want to, if you say, okay, well, you got to figure out what the man did. That's like saying, okay, well, what did the woman do for the man to punch her in her forehead? Like, if you don't want to give that same grace to both sides, it kind of makes the argument.
So no one said that it went to one side or another. And what I'm also saying is there is a trend. When laws change, social norms also change. So if we look back and follow the trend of at fault, irreconcilable differences coming into play, and the increase in prenups, there is a trend there. Why did that happen? What is going on?
Look,
And I'm not arguing from a man's side versus a female side, or a female side versus a man's side. I am saying objectively, look at the societal norms and the trends that has been affecting us, And then let's get to the root, because we talk about change and we talk about let's have this conversation ahead of time and let's communicate. But we also have to go to the origin and look at what is happening objectively, not through our trauma, not through past experience or females or men that we have been exposed to, or quite frankly, we chosen.
Yeah. Grace.
So
What,
that's just really what it is.
Look,
what I hear you.
2 seconds.
Yeah,
There is no correlation between the increase of at-fault divorces and prenups. There is a correlation between no-fault divorces and the increase of prenuptial agreements. Because at-fault divorces help men. That wouldn't make men want to go get more prenups, because now we can be like, yeah, you was a hoe, so I can divorce you and you not take half my shit, like China just did. Like China is no longer giving. China has fault divorces now. I wish that we would be like China. But the fact that no fault divorces are the reason why men are getting more prenups, because a woman can just say, hey, I don't want to be married today. That's what opened the door to women to go be able to screw men, to be able to screw men on the back end of the marriage. It wasn't at fault divorce. It was no fault divorces.
And again, and that's why I said when at fault went down, that's when no fault and irreconcilable differences became an excuse that someone can actually file.
Yeah.
So we're saying the same thing almost, but in different ways. I am saying that from the 70s to the 80s, there was a difference. And before, many states did not have irreconcilable differences. Prenups then entered the chat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to speak to what I heard you saying. Well, how I interpreted what you said earlier. It sounded like you were pretty much asking. We keep talking about women crashing out, but what led up to that? What were the men doing? Like, for example, like, where was he cheating? Was he beating her? Like these, like, and that makes sense. I get it, right? But believe it or not, women crash out for much less. You don't have to necessarily be cheating on them. Like, I've had a woman who violated like one of my rules for a relationship, and I was going to end the relationship, and she crashed out because she said I'm taking her family from her.
What?
Her vision, her dream, and she crashed out. I didn't, I didn't know all of that, but you're taking my future away, and she crashed out. So,
and how was you taking her future away?
By leaving her family, what she envisioned, like what the family that she dreamed of, was her happy home. So
you got locked in a dungeon, huh?
Yeah, like it don't gotta be, like you cheating and you doing this, that, and the third. And to women, this is what I've seen is a woman's what's in her head can be a reality to her. Like, what's in her head can really be a reality to her. A woman can have a dream of you cheating on her, and she wake up, she's mad, and she'll be mad for a few hours, right? Like it's and I understand it because I can see it. I'm like, oh, it's so powerful on them. Like, it's like you really believe, what you thinking is a reality right now. So
what kind of crazy ass women y'all be messing with, me?
That's the average woman, bro. Average woman, if she feels something is true, it's true. Like, that's not special. Like, those of y'all who don't feel that way, y'all are the minority. Like, and we men, we keep telling y'all that. Like, we keep saying, hey, I've been with more women who thought that they felt something that meant that it was real than we've had that wasn't. It's like women still believe in the fucking boogeyman. Like, you're somebody's a monster in the closet that they just opened the closet and saw wasn't nobody in there, but they still scared to sleep in that room. Like, if a woman feels something, that the way a woman feel is what's going to dictate how she acts more often than not. So I will give you all the benefit of the doubt to say that none of y'all are like that. But if we put you in a room with, 1,000 of your contemporaries, maybe 10% of y'all will move that way. So the other 900 out here, and the other 900 is still cute, still looks good, can still cook, still nasty, still wants to be a wife. But that other 10% of y'all, like, that's when you said shit get kind of sticky, because it's not like y'all think that y'all are more emotional. like that y'all are more emotional than men. You're not. You're not more. Men are just as emotional as women are, but y'all experience more emotions than men do. That's the difference. Men are very linear in our emotions. Y'all have an emotion about an emotion that was triggered by a thought that came from an idea that you saw on TV that somehow pissed you off. Men don't do that. And now because you're pissed off, you're spazzing on your boy saying, well, you're going to kidnap my whole family like that nigga in the movie did, to Mont's point.